Together, these teams stand 8-0 on their championship Sunday, but of course, one must concede in our grand finals. Which team holds the momentum from the previous round and gets crowned champion?
Two teams who have already 4-0 today now foray into the grand finals, a place where Liquid are no strangers, but Karmine Corp, Stumpy, they're never not a part of this stage.
They have tied that record. This is their 5th appearance in a row, an unbelievable stat for a team that are determined to not only break records, but set the world on fire in their path. But will Liquid be able to douse those flames? Vatira, he certainly hopes not, because they, alongside Karmine Corp, had an issue yesterday dealing with German amigos, and they have clearly come out a different side today.
The best teams learn every single series they have, whether they win it or lose it, they find ways to adapt and come forwards. And Karmine Corp are proving they have that adaptability. Already Vatira's got an early chance, not quite able to sink it. But this is a team that are coming off the back more recently than Liquid of that 4-0. Will that momentum make a big difference?
I feel like they've just both got the same momentum. Coming into this game, there's the arguments for who's hot, who's a little bit cooler. But I think when you're in the grand final, all of your adrenaline comes straight back into your body. You start to feel it in your veins. And Liquid are currently 17-3 in games this entire event. That is a bonkers statistic. The fact they've only dropped 3 games, they've not lost a series, blows my mind. And that kind of consistency and that persistence to reach that top flight of European RLCS is going to be giving them a huge shot here against KC. And bear in mind they're head-to-head too. They've played each other 3 times recently, and so far, Liquid are the benefactors of that. They have gone 2-1 versus them, and also winning the most recent matchup in EU Fall 3, 4-2 in favor of Liquid.
Well, so far, I'd say it's Karmine Corp that had the better start, and Itachi, he finishes that first sentence with a flourish.
Good pass up as well from Vatira. Flicks it back down, and a 3-man passing play falling finally to Itachi. Bottom left corner, Oski was there, just not able to get enough mustard on that to pinch it out. A minute 20, and KC are up by 1.
And this is what they've been doing throughout the entire season, Karmine Corp. I mean, you mentioned they had a few struggles yesterday against German amigos, but that's probably the most we've seen them struggle online for quite some time. So barring that waiver, their consistency is what sets them apart.
And for sure, they're also, congratulations to them, they've made the major. They've clinched a spot already. They've not even won this grand finals, but their performance has been so phenomenal that they are able to, reach them so frequently. It's just trying to transition that online performance into that LAN performance, because we've seen how devastated this team becomes when they don't reach those highs.
As for Team Liquid, they currently find themselves 1 goal behind, trying to get back into this first game. It's going to be difficult when Exotic is sweeping them all away, and Vatira has control of the ball. A flick reset for him, an early warning. Another one for Liquid. They're finding the way through the goal. Karmine Corp, it's 2-0, it's simple.
2-0, not yet half-time, and this time Itachi setting up Exotic, turning it back round. Atto unable to get his nose to it, incredibly close, devastatingly so. But Exotic able to just be slightly taller in his high-up Fennec. KC looking like the stronger team, and that offense throughout this event has definitely been their star point.
Yeah, they are top for goals scored, and the sort of goals they're scoring as well is something that you can never take away from them. The defending as well isn't too bad either, and so far they're making Liquid look a little bit blunt. We haven't had too many opportunities for Team Liquid to really venture forward and apply their own squeeze against the Karmine Corp defense. This could be a chance though. Atto over the top, Vatira almost misses, and that's about as close as you can ever say about Vatira.
Yeah, decent chance there for Liquid, but again at pass central, lots of passing plays coming into KC. Certainly seems to be the flavour of the day. Chronic up for that double, down, but just too much of an angle. Doesn't end up being too devastating on that burst then, so Oski comes in for the pass from Atto. Chance for Chronic to take it slow. Oski declines to touch that ball, instead relinquishes control back over towards Exotic. Atto pinching central. Vatira half flipping to maintain that control, and now Liquid chance to push.
Karmine Corp, who will probably still be reeling to an extent from the disappointment that was the Rotterdam Major. They would have felt it was theirs with their crowd there on EU soil, and they are just sweeping everyone away in their path back in Europe to make it to San Diego and ensure that the same mistakes will not happen. You mentioned the emotions they have, Stumpy. And a player like Vatira, he feels every win more than anybody else, but also feels every loss so much.
Yeah, absolutely, and he's going to hate the fact that he, of course, was so successful with Moist, but he's not been able to transfer that over for Karmine Corp. With Sport the Blue Wall, they will certainly be wanting that to occur. Vatira in the midfield, passing it down towards a Chronic, who ends up trying to go for a little touch off that side wall. Justin S. from a couple of I don't know, a couple of lands ago now at this point, but definitely reminded me of it.
They go quick nowadays.
They really do. Oski, though, continuing down that right wall past Central. 2 players having to commit from Karmine Corp there, and Oski is the last man back.
You can see the importance of Itachi as well. 2 of the Karmine Corp players were just drawn in to the liquid mechanics, but Itachi is never going to fall for it. He's happy to be that safe pair of hands in the center of the pitch. Look at him underneath this one, allowing his more mechanical teammate, Exotic, just to get a big clearance. Attaching in the sky, waiting for a Chronic, trying to bait him out. So trying to cause some damage to the Karmine Corp defense. Maybe already Liquid thinking they're going to have to just tweak things a little bit, because up to now, KC looked fairly impenetrable.
Exotic catching in the midfield. He goes high above Oski, and now a chance for the third. The flick continuing again. This power duo. Karmine Corp is not all about Vatira. Exotic and Itachi linking up together allow magic to happen.
3-0. 3-0 in game number 1 of another grand final for Karmine Corp. And my goodness, do they make it look simple. You feel that they're still playing within themselves. This is the Team Liquid that have not conceded a game in the quarterfinals, but didn't concede a game earlier on in the semi-finals for Quadrant, who knocked out Vitality. And now you look at them, and Karmine Corp are making them look decidedly average. This is a supreme performance already. It's only game 1 and a best of 7, but you're up against a huge mountain in KC.
I mean, Liquid, as you say, they haven't lost a game since groups on Friday. It has been a couple of nights sleep since then, and that is the first one they are going to be falling to. Karmine Corp, their shadow extends over the realm of Europe. Liquid have got a lot of work to do to try and climb up that mountain, but it is by no means an unclimbable feat.
There is no weak spot at all for Karmine Corp. Vatira is the player that's always mentioned, and perhaps that was unfair to refer to Itachi as Exotic's less mechanical teammate, because in the last couple of tournaments, his mechanics have stepped up hugely as well.
But at least you're not tweeting like T-Bates is and saying that Vatira carries KCorp. You're not that naive.
Lol. Let's all laugh at T-Bates, but we can
Everyone
say
laugh at T-Bates.
Right, all right.
T-Bates.
Listen, stop it. We don't need to make everyone laugh at T-Bates. They're going to do that by themselves anyway. Let's you and I focus on this match right here, right now. Karmine Corp dominating in game number 1. Did you see anything from Team Liquid?
I think Liquid had a couple of decent chances, but I think they're trying to go for a couple of simple shots, which then just gives that control back over towards Karmine Corp. And I've told them off before for going for too complicated shots. It's trying to find that middle ground. Don't always go for those flip resets to then try and score. Sometimes just hit it hard. That's how they were beating teams in groups before, is just by going for a couple simple opportunities and outspeeding your opponent, which Atto has done immediately, pinching top right corner of the net, but not a goal to start Liquid off.
Atto, who has been pivotal so far for Team Liquid in this tournament, their star performer, mechanically speaking, at least. Let's sit down to a Chronic there. Better start for Team Liquid this time. A good pass across the side. Atto is there yet again, buzzing around by the KC sort of head just being swatted, but always getting that ball.
The Chronic's catching the midfield. It bounces nicely for Liquid to maintain a bit of control here. Flicked high. Oski, though, only finding Exotic on the other side. With 30 boost, he passes it back over towards Itachi. No touch coming in for a Chronic on the backboard. Instead, leaves it nicely for Oski. He can dribble it round 1. In the skies, he is alone until Vatira pre-jumps him. It goes low. It goes on the goal line, but nobody can make contact with Liquid until a Chronic, the man to make it 1.
Coming in from the third man was a Chronic, and he breathed some life into this series. It was Oski and Atto, causing all sorts of damage between them. And a Chronic, I mean, he could do that a million times and never miss one of them. 1-0 Liquid.
First minute, very much going the way that Liquid want to as well, because if they concede early on, then the idea of, God, KC really are impenetrable starts to come in their head. But the gods do bleed.
And as well, this is the newer version of Liquid as well, as they put a second one away. 2-0 from Oski. I'll talk in a second about their playstyle switch, but now let's just enjoy it.
A pure outplay from Oski too. It bounces very awkwardly for KC off that corner. Vatira has to try and dive in as early as he can. But large Oscar is already waiting and lurking and is able to boot that one in the back of the net.
And it's balanced. That is the change for Team Liquid in this event. They've always had the ability to explode into life like they have right now as they made it 3. The 3 of them are playing so well together, Stumpy.
Immediately off the kickoff as well, it's Exotic actually whipping that ball, and Atto, I think, has gifted a bit of a goal there. Sees it bouncing his way, is up for somewhat of a, okay, if he misses, lol, if that ends up happening, but manages to make contact.
So anyway, I was saying, Stumpy, Team Liquid have come into this event with a slightly different play style. They're a bit more balanced around the pitch, no longer leaving a Chronic as the isolated third man trying to chase everything. They're more capable of slowing down the ball when it's needed and just going toe-to-toe in the midfield. And it's really working for them. Thankfully, they've stopped scoring long enough for me to make that point.
There you go. You're welcome. Atto just wanted to make sure that I could compliment him for capitalizing on a bit of a whiff, a very, very rare whiff from anybody from KC. Itachi passed him back to Vatira on that chance. Oski is the man back to catch it into the corner. And another pass central and another goal, KC.
There was the trade in the top right of your screen. You'd have seen it, a demo, but it turned it into a 2v2 that was won by Karmine Corp. Attaching a lovely touch towards Exotic. And the finish wasn't bad either. He still had a lot to do.
Yeah, going to the opposite top corner. Nice way to slice it across the net. Forbidden Temple is going to be seeing that goal deficit cut down to just 2 this time. Akron able to get on the end of that kickoff. High in the center, Atto, can he get the double? That does go incredibly far out, but the pass central, Catalysm-esque, dare I say, from yesterday.
Oski with the fast shot. Itachi, it's a good touch, and then dribbles it round the side. Calm and collected play from the Moroccan. It just falls to Oski. Staring down Exotic. Where are you going to put this ball? It's just into here where Vatira lay. And so I can put it to the side. And I think Liquid are going to be happy with this one just being, you know, a back and forth boomer ball sesh for a little while.
I mean, it burns off time for the clock for Liquid. And if they're able to hold it off for another minute or so without conceding, and if they can ward off any of these attempts, which they manage to yet again, and they're going to be looking good going into the final 90 seconds. There's still half the game left, and we're going to be seeing whether KC do manage to fall back in line.
Oski's going to try and win this ball and win the boost. He's managed both, so well on to him. Another trade.
Another trade.
So both teams going for these demos. The Chronic has to be aware that that one is going on target. So with Exotic closing down, Karmine Corp have upped the pace, upped the pressure as well. Getting more lurks on the orange net. But these all important touches for Liquid. They're keeping them in it. You know, Karmine Corp can have their possession, but as long as they get something on the ball, then Liquid will survive, but they didn't there.
Shoo! Getting that touchdown. Vatira doesn't get that second. I imagine gets called off by Itachi. You can then keep it low, pass it right. Vatira can slam it far left. Brilliant movement from KC around the pitch. And the final 2 minutes, we said that Liquid are going to need to hold off on a couple of goals going in. That goal deficit down to just 1.
Sheesh indeed, my friend. Sheesh indeed. It looks so comfortable for Team Liquid. But Karmine Corp, you can never count them out. There's still 4.5 minutes left, or however long Liquid had put on the board when they scored their third goal. Now they're going to have to make sure they don't count too far in their own half. If they turtle up, they're not going to have a good time against KC. That's better from a Chronic, closing down the KC attack quickly, defending from the front. That's why Team Liquid are one of the best defenders in this event. It's not because of their goal line clearances.
Yeah, they make sure they're attacking as many balls as they can actively rather than waiting for it to become a passive opportunity. The midfield is where Liquid want to make sure that they are defending from, because if you make sure that they're not taking those harsh shots on net, then that is where you can make sure that they're not going to be easy follow-ups. You're not going to be having just a couple of goals trickle in because you've used all of your boost on having to make a wonder save.
Oh, that doubles up the difference again. And who better than Atto to stick the boot in?
Oski with one flip reset does get caught out by the defender, and the immediate shot from Atto sees Itachi just moved into the goal a smidge, sees an opportunity left-hand side and breaks that window for the 4th goal on the side of Liquid.
The dream of having a match on Championship Sunday that isn't 4-0 to either team is alive, Stumpy. We just have to hope as a community, will Liquid into surviving these next 55 seconds without conceding a couple, but Karmine Corp is still so dangerous. Vatira pumps it forward. Oski's already there. Itachi's coming in. Does he have the pass? Not quite this time, but the dunk is still on the menu. Exotic with Vatira in the center. So desperate to get the ball to him. He manages it, but maybe it's one touch too many, and that chance goes begging.
It's hurried offense now from KC as they try and get anything to come and go their way. 30 seconds remaining. Midfield dribbled by Itachi, but the ball being just booted too far away from his car, leaves it open for Oski to tackle. Left-hand side sees Exotic, just pass it back over to a Chronic, and a demo from Oski.
Well done.
These guys on Liquid are second at the moment, this event for demos. I haven't really seen them be too pivotal, but the fact that they're going to be able to scare KC away from the ball every now and then is going to unsettle them somewhat.
Because KC always seems to have so much control, so taking off a third of their firepower, that's a pretty good thing to do, and they're able to just squeeze the life out of this one, Stumpy. This is going to be Liquid's game, and we are going to have a series in this final. And I'll tell you what, mate, I'm relieved. that this
It's
won't be a
not
4-0.
a 4-0!
I want so many games
Not
of
a
this.
4-0!
Hey!
Oh, that does make me incredibly happy. Thank you, Liquid, for not giving us a 4-0. And Blue Wall,
Tommy.
sorry that I'm... I'm sorry, Blue Wall, that I'm celebrating that your team just lost a single game. But we go into game number 3 and we find ourselves level pegging yet again. And a great turnaround for Liquid there too. Getting a few on the trot is going to be a confidence booster.
Completely. I think the fact that they started this second game so well is going to make it easier for Karmine Corp to wipe that one off. You know, it was a bit of a dead match. Karmine Corp came back, but when you're 3 goals down, I mean, I don't know what the actual statistics are. I'm guessing it's not high to win a match from 3 goals down. So we go now into the third map, and I think that Karmine Corp are going to be pretty chill despite losing that one.
Yeah, I think so. I mean, Karmine Corp clearly have a game plan. They know that they are going to be in the grand finals against another best team in Europe. They know they've been here 5 times in a row, let's bear in mind.
Oh, yeah.
So they are completely aware of what these entail. A 4-0 is going to be rare in the grand finals. Unless you're Gen G in North America, sometimes it just sort of happens. But opportunities to show off why you are going to be going through, ideally for Karmine Corp, as the #1 team in Europe to the San Diego Major, which, by the way, everyone can buy tickets for still. Exclamation mark tickets in the chat. Please make sure you do. I'd love to go and see you there. And rep your teams if you are going to be going.
I am completely certain, by the way, you mentioned Gen G. They've publicly said that they're looking forward to playing KC and vice versa. These teams on Twitter have said that they wish to play each other. I bet Gen G are watching this one right now and taking notes about what Team Liquid are doing.
Sure. Yeah, I mean, if Team Liquid are going to be able to take down a couple of games, ideally... They just can't get goals like that, however.
Oh, that was so close from Oski. The redirect of his dreams, but they're going to keep on going. Atto can still turn it into gold, and he manages it. 1-0 Liquid.
Did not slow down for a second. The pass central, Exotic did not know that was coming in, and Atto chasing the ball like a rat down a drain pipe. The first minute sees Liquid with 1.
He's so nimble. The speed that he showed there to keep that one alive. And it shows reason number 7568 why we're not pros. You and I, we were mourning the fact that goal didn't go in from Oski. They just got on with it and scored.
Minute gone, up our Liquid, and Itachi wants to make it even. A pass central again. Those passes are starting to be found out by Liquid.
Yeah, they're reading them. You're right. That's a huge momentum shift as well. But they can go solo. Vatira's going to try and do just that. Actually, he fakes it for Itachi. That was a real chance for Itachi, but the attack continues with Vatira now. Round the corner he wants to go. Wants to just force this one into the top right, but Liquid hold firm.
Vatira's control in the air there was like a ballerina with a ball on their nose. Being able to hold it high and then continue wrapping around it is blowing my mind.
Do you think ballerina
Don't dive into it. Don't dive into it.
Let's just carry on. Let's hope the defense don't dive into this one as Atto is asking questions of Exotic. Good clearance. Vatira did have a pass to the left. I think he should have found his teammate there.
2 minutes gone and this lead still for Liquid. Opportunities are rising again to make it 2, but Vatira saving it away into that back right corner. Oski doesn't get there too convincingly in the center for a pass. Reluctant to, I think, dive in particularly deep, knowing that this lead can be held. But you said, Cole, that their best defense is by attacking.
Yeah, they're still an incredibly fast team, our Team Liquid, even though we're talking about how they have added the extra bit of balance. Maybe most boost usage. I know that in the majority of regionals, Oski and Atto are the top 2 for average pace. They just keep on flying, right?
Yeah,
they will never
their boost down.
They use it. Oh, Vatira, he's just about saving. Exotic's coming in, but Oski with the in and out keeps it away. It's still KC knocking on the door, though. Will that be the answer? Not with Oski there. More great defending from Team Liquid. Atto meets Itachi. Exotic is just waiting, and Karmine Corp fans will be happy that their players seem to be having so much time on the ball. Liquid are penned right back at the moment.
Until Oski can try and work over the top of Vatira. Can't do it on that occasion. And a few pre-jumps coming out as well from the Karmine Corp defense, as now Itachi challenges on a Chronic, who wonderfully gets around a couple of them and steals the boost too. That is going to be shutting down Karmine Corp in the short term.
That's a good pop from Atto. Oski is just watching it. How many players can he get by? A couple of them, but not all the way. As Vatira sends it long. A good open game of Rocket League, this one. Exotic and a Chronic in the center. Atto, he's got this bump on his side. Brilliant from a Chronic, and Atto does the easy job.
A Chronic chases, and Atto is able to find an opening. Wonderful work by the duo. Double A getting it done with electric play.
Liquid could not be happier with how the last couple of games have gone, and suddenly it's Karmine Corp that are going to have questions asked about them. Exotic could answer them right now, though. If one more touch goes his way, it's got the ceiling reset, but it's not going to do anything for him. And this is when you start to get frustrated as KC, when you're turning your car around, chasing it back to your own half.
80 seconds, 2 goals, and another bump attempt. A toe shooting across the net. But look at the movement by Oski to shut down that defense yet again.
Liquid just showing their patience. Oski, yeah, Exotic.
Just go
try and jump, mate. You're going to have Oski over the top of you, and he is an imposing fella. You can't lift him up and out of the sky, so 3-0, it was always going to happen.
He stole my lunch money at the Spring Major.
And you're tall.
I'm a big boy, and that man, he got my £4.30. I was going to get a slice of pizza.
In your own country as well, in London.
I know.
Unbelievable.
Brutal.
3 goals for the good now for Team Liquid. Starting to have some fun with this one. Reading what KC are putting down on the table. Exotic up against Oski. KC, what can they get going? They had games like this yesterday, Stumpy, against German Amigos. Is that the experience they're going to rely on here?
I think they are wildly different teams. I think whatever you learn from German Amigos, unfortunately for KC, can't really be applied here. Mentality-wise, maybe by going down in a series, because German Amigos did go ahead 2-1 to start us off. But Liquid, they are pushing as hard as they can. They're not absorbing any KC attack. They're not letting KC attack. Ato flicking it wonderfully over the crossbar, saved away, and a pass towards the side. Oski didn't want that ball to be flowing back into the blue half.
And look how unsure Itachi was made as well. Normally he is supremely confident with where all other 5 cars are on the pitch. He was floating to that ball. He had no idea where Liquid were because they're currently running rings around Karmine Corp all over the pitch. That's a real good sign of how Liquid are playing this one. 10 seconds are ticking down. The game is dead. The series, though, well and truly alive as we're going to head to game 4.
2-1 in favor of Liquid. Myself, Cole, Shogun, and Johnny all predicted a Karmine Corp, not a garbage time goal, but maybe a Karmine Corp win in the grand finals. Regardless, if Liquid get this, we stay with the same amount of points, so there's no real problem. And Karmine Corp, they do sense a problem as a timeout is called.
That's pretty baller, really. Smashing in a finish into the top right and then just typing in timeout. That's the man who has got something to say, is Itachi right now. And I'm sure all of the Karmine Corp team and their coach do. They are going to have to talk this one through. Team Liquid, though, it's all working for them. The plays are happening. The solo plays are looking pretty devastating. And Karmine Corp look pensive. They look worrisome of themselves.
I mean, they looked so confident before the series started, and I think now, I think you can start off being confident, and you can be dancing and having fun and chatting to your teammates and whatever else. But when it comes down to it, when it comes down to brass tacks, you're going to need to make sure that you have got your head 100% in the game. I don't doubt that KC are doing that, of course, and making sure that, their confidence is what carries them through. That is what makes them such a phenomenal team. However, Liquid are just shutting them down. When they're attacking as hard as they are, and they are being faster in a lot of ways too, as we've seen that Oski and Atto do manage to do, KC, I think, can struggle to deal with that. When they're used to being the fastest team, when they're used to being the most attacking team, when someone outdoes them, that's when it becomes a little bit of a wake-up call that maybe you do have those weak spots. And sorry to keep rambling, timeout stats are still ridiculous. When a team takes a timeout, on average, goals scored double. They go from about 1 goal per game to 1.91 per game, and you cut down the chance of yourself conceding by around 43%.
Now, if I were a man of maths, Stumpy, I would remind you that Karmine Corp didn't... Oh, they did score, actually. No, they scored the garbage time goal. I was going to be so clever, but they scored right at the end. That means they're nailed on to get 2 goals in this next game on Utopia.
I back you to be clever one day, though.
Me too. I really thought that was the moment. And then halfway through my mouth moving,
I can tell you've got a lot of lost pride right now.
Yeah, it's tough. I won the drawing competition in the pre-show, though. So, that's all that matters to me. What I was going to say earlier on was that this is such an important moment for Coach Eversax as well, because he has to know his team. Do they need to be talked through the theory? Do they need to be, kicked at the backside? Do they need to have an arm around their shoulders? All of these deathly important in moments where theories are going against you.
And Liquid in this time, bear in mind, they've got the same 2 minutes. We've got the same 2 minutes in a day. And it's very true. Now I feel prideful. How's this happened? And Liquid, they are going to be able to go into Utopia thinking we can get ourselves a series point, a championship point here in here in Europe, and it's something that they've not done, since the end of fall in the previous split. It would be huge for them and their chances for that major. They're currently sitting in 4th, I believe, to be going through. So they're in a good spot, but a win, that really elevates them.
Yeah, I mean, a win here surely all but guarantees them a spot at the next major. It won't be locked in, but as close as you can be. But we are jumping ahead to the future. That's our mistake because it's 1-0 KC right here, right now.
We're in the future, Exotic is in the present, and Vatira is setting him up with one. Exotic being able to just tap that in after the flick going from that side wall, and within 19 seconds of game number 4, KC take their well-deserved lead.
Power of the tactical timeout. Suddenly KC look like a team reborn. They're feeling it. They're able to speed up against Team Liquid and actually beat them to the ball occasionally, because I can't remember too many times in the last couple of games where KarmineCorp were straight up beating Liquid. They had possession, but it was mainly when Liquid let them have it.
Yeah, Liquid, I feel, controlled the pace definitely of that of that third game, but KC, they are more than capable of wrestling that kind of control back. Make sure that they are going to be supersonically flying around the pitch, and passing plays continue to pepper that net.
Love it from KarmineCorp right there. Look at Itachi go in a second. Sorry, look at Exotic go in a second. Just getting that extra little touch. It's always that extra touch at this level of Rocket League. You might adjust the angle by 30%. Makes it impossible to defend against. And
just delaying it too. The defender had no idea when that second touch was coming in. Sure, you can presume all you want, but faking like that as well is going to be putting the Liquid defense on pressure. The defender had no idea, and suddenly KC on the other side of a 3-goal thriller within a minute.
I think that this is a little bit slower than Liquid's 3 goals that they scored in game 2. I could be wrong there, but I think that was about...
faster.
Is it faster? Was that one before?
I think it was like 3:59 or something.
That's the real battle. Who cares who wins the series?
Oh, I'm looking at the statistician now. Direct, my guy. If I'm wrong, just don't type anything. Cheers, mate.
Cool, okay. Anyway, what matters right now, really more than anything, I'll be honest, is the fact that it's 3-0 to KarmineCorp, and Liquid...
What a turnaround.
Are suddenly the ones looking a little bit shell-shocked. It could be 4. Vatira's beaten by Atto. Attaching to Vatira again. I fully expected Vatira to appear in my screen and redirect that one in.
Yeah, I was kind of a little bit disappointed that we saw a Liquid defender just clear it away instead.
Yeah,
but Atto's removing one of the attacking players, and out-dribbled Itachi. The man dribbling past the defenders time and time again.
KarmineCorp, they just don't always need to rely on the aerial plays. There was a beautiful dribble from Vatira yesterday against German Amigos, and it involved a wave dash, and that was Itachi's turn. 4-0 now to KarmineCorp.
And I think that 4-0 is faster than the 3-0 that Liquid managed to get. So you know what? Fair play, KCorp. I think you win that round.
That's fair. Oski sends it long. Liquid trying to whir up those engines. There is a 0% win percentage in EU after going 4-0 down. So odds aren't on their favor, but there's a lot of time left. So that's the only plus side here.
It's time to potentially change those stats, but my God, the numbers are against Liquid right now, especially against the best attacking team in Europe at the moment. Itachi wants to go low with that challenge again. Vatira catching it in the midfield and potentially just damage control for the egos of Liquid, because worst case, they then go to 2-all in the series, but it's still quite devastating to lose 4 before halftime.
Oh, especially when the clearances aren't working. Everything's going against Liquid right now. They do not want to be humiliated here. Can really start to get in your head if that's what happens. Vatira up to the backboard, wants to make it 5. Of course he does. Atto clears it. Oski's there. Oski's going to keep things going. Liquid, fair play to them, have stepped up, and they're not shrinking into their shells.
Atto shying away from that ball, leaving a Chronic to go for it instead. But with low boost, he can't do too much because Exotic just wait patiently on that goal line. Pinched high, Vatira first to it with the long shot. Weirdly, it's actually, if you're down 4 goals, there's a 0% chance that you're going to win a game. But if you're down 5 goals, that goes up to a 10% winning chance. Isn't that mad?
Is that a joke? I think
it is absolutely a joke. No, they have just made it worse.
Then it can't be 5-0 because it has already been 4-0. Okay, yeah. So I thought you were going to say that now there's like a minus 0% chance.
Is minus 0%, at the risk of getting too Liquid streamy here, where we don't talk about the game. Is minus 0% a thing? I'm going to assume no.
No.
Cool.
It's not.
Well, I'll trust you. I trust you with that.
It's about as much of a thing as the chance of Liquid winning this game from 5-0 down, which...
minus 0%-ish.
Oh my goodness, let's just enjoy KarmineCorp, because they're still pumping out banger after banger.
God! Whoa! the speed to get up to that Vatira, and he just ends up floating to it. He knows that he is going to be able to get that redirect. Nobody on Liquid can catch up to him. 6-0. Under 2 minutes remaining, and they are flying.
I mean, it's this series is seeming like one that can go all the way. This game certainly won't. Utopia is the stomping ground of Karmine Corp. Vatira almost fakes out his Liquid opponent. Atto sends it forwards, though. And Liquid just... Because a goal or two here truly would help them in the next game, right?
It would be nice. Yeah, it's something that you can look back and be like, okay, we made them bleed regardless. They beat us 6-2 or 6-1, whatever it ends up being. But we were good enough to get one.
My goodness.
But with the 7th going in, this is Karmine Corp's world, and we are all just living in it.
It's an absolute massacre in the Coliseum. This is horrible scenes for Team Liquid fans, but Karmine Corp will be having the time of their lives right now. And I wonder how much different their cams are, because they looked very frustrated when they had their tactical timeout. Now, are they still, is it that level of that frustration? Is that what they're channeling right now?
I think when Karmine Corp feel wounded, they strike with a sheer vengeance that very few teams are going to be able to deal with. And apparently, after a timeout for Karmine Corp, you know, the average was, doubling your goals roughly. Yeah. Karmine Corp score 175% more goals. They go sicko mode. And when they get the Brazil at that, maybe that one goal isn't going to be quite as comforting as we thought it may be when it was just 6.
Yeah, the fact that it does turn it into a Brazil takes away any joy that Liquid could get from scoring that goal. I know that everyone in the community loves to see a Brazil, so many of you will be hoping that there are no more goals in the next 55 seconds, and history will say it was a 7-1.
The stats become more disgusting. They become more revolting. Including this game, Karmine Corp. It's going to be even worse now. Karmine Corp were, when I started this sentence, at plus 260% in goals scored after calling a timeout. They times their goals by 2.6, from 0.71 to 2.71. How are Karmine Corp so devastating?
This is when stats get a little bit skewed when a game like this
is the
makes it all a bit silly. A little bit silly. Credit to Liquid, they're continuing to twitch
208
bodies on the floor. Exotic might make it 9-1. This is just ridiculous. We might get double figures right here. Iconic is trying to spare some blushes of Team Liquid. I think their faces are entirely red by now. Everyone just seems to have let this one go. I mean, anything to add, Stumpy? Any thoughts? What can we possibly say about this game?
I mean, Karmine Corp are just well good. They're just well good. And that's
great.
I'd love to hear your argument, but we do not have enough time left in this series to get that, because we are now at 8-1, potentially a cheeky 8-2. Oh, Cronin, that's not the best in the world, is it, pal? Karmine Corp take it to 2-all in the series. We go to game 5 with a stomping to set the scene.
How do they recover? What do you say?
Timeout.
If you're in Team Liquid, right?
Timeout.
What do you say then? Maybe you just say nothing. Maybe you'll just go...
I let them spew. I look at them and I say, iconic, mate, that shot at the end, mate.
I haven't seen the timeout yet, which is surprising.
Not going for the timeout. And fair enough. Fair enough. If they don't want to go for it, if they're not going to call the timeout, fair play. But my God, Liquid, if there's any time I feel to call a timeout, it's after getting 8-1'd.
Maybe they're happy with that. Maybe they're like, oh, that's pretty good. Let's just keep going.
That was a well-fought 8-1. A very well-fought 8-1 for Karmine Corp. Vatira nearly dropping a 1,000-point game.
I haven't seen one of them for a while, have we?
No, we've not. I am blown away with that turnaround that Karmine Corp had, because bear in mind, in that third game, we were saying, wow, Team Liquid, they won 3-1. What a crazy result. And they come out and they near triple, the amount of goals that Liquid managed to get against them. A huge match for them. Wasteland is going to be our next location where, 2-all in the series, we see who pushes on to get that championship point.
This is the beauty of each game in a Rocket League series being a nice little chunk in its own existence. You can lose 8-1. This is 0-0 again. All that matters is that the series is 2-all. So if you just wipe that entire slate clean, you can start from now if you're Team Liquid. Whereas KC, they can take all that happiness from the last game. They can keep pushing and make it 1-0 early. Smart finish from Itachi.
breath being held, and a big sigh at the end, I'm sure, for Liquid as to commit to it. Atachi flies very early, about 2 feet off the ground, and manages to tap it high. 16 seconds for their next goal.
Now you start to get really worried for Team Liquid because they would have been saying, let's just keep it tight at the start of the next game, make sure we're actually involved in it. But they could go 2-0 down straight away here. Oh, what a save from Atto. Will that spur them into life?
Send everybody to that ball because you've got nothing to lose. A long shot flying in, Vatira clearing it from that top corner. Atto intercepting, and those little touches may well contribute and build up to frustrate KC when they can't work out their own half. Oski sees a Chronic, and Atto wants to come in for something special.
So close there. The fake in the air. The communication was good. The defending was just about enough there from Karmine Corp via the help of the crossbar. Exotic takes the touch. A Chronic is lingering, waiting, seeing what he's going to do. It's a Chronic that wins there. That might be going over the top of Vatira. He's going in for a second. He set out his jump, though. A bit of pressure for Team Liquid. It's been a while since we've said that, Stumpy.
Yeah, Liquid definitely taking the most of the reset. Going down to that 0-0 now ends up being, of course, that 1-0. But it's good opportunities. They're managing to find themselves on Liquid's side. Exotic saving away a fantastic shot. And again, Exotic. Oski can shoot. Vatira can save.
It's a great save, but there was so much goal to aim for, and he just pumped it at the only part that Vatira was already at. Slightly disappointing finish there, but Liquid have got to keep on going. KC, to their credit, have kept this one at 1-0 up. The clean sheet is still looking impeccable. Exotic puts it out wide where Itachi is waiting. Still 1-0. It's suddenly got nervy. It might be less so now for KC, but Itachi misses.
When you see a player flying that far, you have to think, how hard are you going to leather this into the net? And it's definitely trying to find that balance. A long shot, though. Vatira has to save it away because it is just wide, pinched above the crossbar. Anyone orange can find it? No, instead it's found to the corner by Exotic. Gone long, as now a Chronic in the opposite corner can go to the ceiling, bides his time, but Vatira says, nope, I am the man who controls that.
Vatira, whose team have made so many grand finals in a row, is so confident on Twitter. It means so much to him. He must want to be in that conversation for the GOAT, and with these teammates, he can win anything.
What a touch from Itachi. We said about how those awkward touches do more, and just pipping it over the top of the final defender, setting up Exotic wonderfully. It is not a one-man team. It is a three-man band, and these goals are music to the Blue Walls' ears.
It's what they want. That's the level of play they want to strive for each and every time, Karmine Corp. Exotic's turn this time leads it to Itachi, though, in the end. Off the backboard. Good read from a Chronic. It's not an easy one to do, and that demo will give them a little bit of space. Good Team Liquid had done some good work before conceding that second goal. They have to build upon it.
Halfway through the game, and with 2 goals scored, Liquid find themselves trying to crawl something back. Flicked onto the backboard, but Oski doesn't have enough to continue it too far. And a Chronic didn't seem to have the ambition to want to go in and commit on that. He does not want to charge that net, just for the worry that their back line will become weak again, as it has done historically.
Just a little bit floaty there from a Chronic, but Atto was in the perfect place, so perhaps it's entirely what a Chronic was intending. The Team Liquid needing to do a little bit more than this. It's not looking particularly incisive from them, these plays.
Yeah, it seems like when we saw Liquid win that previous game, they were not playing catch-up. They were playing actively. They were taking control. You know, it was them who decided the pace of the play. But with passing plays in the center, Fartouch isn't able to come through. A through ball, unable to find another Liquid player. The double touch attempt, saved away by Atto. And you're right, the incisiveness for Liquid just not there. As Karmine Corp, they are absolutely the ones who have got this game by the neck.
Yeah, just swamping Liquid's attack right now. Itachi, he's getting a flip reset and backflipping onto it. The improvisation is there for Karmine Corp. The smiles are back in their cast body language. Can change in a heartbeat, though. 1 or 2 Liquid goals could affect that. And we did see yesterday for Karmine Corp, German Amigos came back from a couple of goal deficits. So KC will keep on pushing. Atto to the side, though. Beats Itachi. Itachi's chasing it, gets some boost, and leaves it for Vatira. All of this is taking seconds off the clock. Vatira there, and it's just incredibly clean rotations right now from Karmine Corp. You can sense the frustration from Liquid.
I think Liquid, they know they need something. They know they need that confidence bringer. That 1 goal they got previously to make it 8-1, I don't think did literally anything. I think if anything, saying, okay, we can score, and yet we conceded 8, isn't going to do them any good. Oski with a very low and poor touch, trying to drop it down to a Chronic who just was not in position at all. 30 seconds remains. The blue wall holding remarkably strong as Liquid just fail to make them crumble.
Their performance right now is reminiscent of Team BDS at the World Championships, where Liquid don't, in this game at least, look like they're playing particularly badly. It just looks like they are flat. And that's because anywhere they go, there is the blue wall. And when they do turn it on, they don't even need to smash it in. They'll keep prodding and playing with their food. They're enjoying themselves now, Karmine Corp. They want the better goals, the wonder goals. What they do want is a lead in the series. And when this ball hits the floor, they're going to get it. KC go within one of 2 tournaments in a row.
And Liquid call their timeout. The 8-1 wasn't enough. Instead, the 2-0 as they fall to the 3-2 scoreline is going to be that changing point for them. And this, my God, Exper, is where you earn your paycheck. How do you turn this Liquid team around to make them that dominant, speedy, expeditious, monstrous team that we know and love?
I feel like you're going to enjoy me saying this, Stumpy.
I'm ready.
I think that Team Liquid have to go absolutely all out, dumb plays, fast as anything, old school Team Liquid. If you give away an open goal at the other end, who cares, baby? Let's get ourselves some runaway goals.
I actually disagree. I think they need to go a lot more slow and measured. Go bananas, boys!
Hey,
Chuck everything at this. I mean, that's the way that you beat Karmine Corp. You sit back and you wait for those defensive moments, which is not what Liquid do. It's what Karmine Corp are forcing them to do. But if you find yourself in that position, yes, oh my word, is it horrible to try and work your way out of it. But you need to do that. You have to make sure that the opportunities that you take are ones that you are forcing. Karmine Corp will not give you an inch. You cannot take a mile with them.
We're going to go to Neo Tokyo, and we're going to have to see a much improved Team Liquid here. The mechanics that have been so effective for them this entire time. You know, even at the start of this series, Oski, you see him there, he was making Karmine Corp, at the very least, think about every touch and every play they made. But there's been nothing of that for the past couple of games. If they do lose this match, Stumpy, will they look back to not taking the timeout before the previous game as a mistake?
Sorry, I'm typing to our lovely statistician. I heard not a word of what you just said. Please repeat.
Should they end up losing this finals, will they turn back and look back at the last not taking a timeout and think we should have taken a timeout and that?
I think when you see the stats that timeouts really benefit a team by, you worded that wonderfully, by the way, sorry.
Thank you, thank you.
When you see how well teams can perform after timeouts, I think that's something that's either going to add that pressure to Liquid and make them think, okay, we should win this. And when they go down a goal, they're going to think, but we're not. Oh my word, we've got the opportunity. We're in that second place. Or they have had that talk. Expa has said to them, right, boys, throw everything. Don't just have a kitchen sink. Throw the entire kitchen at them.
Oski's large enough. A Team Liquid strong enough as a team to throw a kitchen right now at Karmine Corp. We shall see. Exotic, though. He's on all the control at the start. It could be a perfect beginning for Karmine Corp in this game. Neo Tokyo's already looking like theirs.
Neo Tokyo lights up with the colors of blue. As Exotic tapping that one down finds Itachi, who can just poach so close to the net. They beat their record. 11 seconds they get the first goal in. Before it was 16. My God, they just get faster.
In the first split in full, they finished second twice in grand finals and won one of them. If they can win this series, they're already doing better than they did in fall. And with Vatira going in and out off the opposition backboard, it's looking like they're feeling it right here, right now.
Chance, though, as Liquid attempts this push at the spearhead of Atto, carried on the backboard and then controlled by Exotic, sees it 50'd into that right-hand wall. Vatira up with only half boost, can still get the 50 central. Oski just has to clear that away, as in front of the net is exactly where KC are going to be most devastating.
Itachi's pass is a little bit in front, though, of where Exotic wanted it, and Team Liquid can come out. Remember, they're only one goal behind in this game. It's still well and truly alive. They just have to get their heads straight. Keep the communication up. Lovely pass there from Oski to Atto. What can you do with it? He's got the reset. He's going to take it. But Vatira, he can save as well.
Vatira waiting in the way. Free jumps him, shooting high on that one, but setting up potentially his teammate instead. Liquid can push down the other side, just flicks over one, but nothing to continue from it. And for Liquid fans, it is not good news when Karmine Corp score first, because they are first in Europe with an 87.5% win rate. They are incredible when they get that lead.
Because they can score double, or they can defend. They can do it all, this team. The spoken Team Liquid, they can send it forwards. Vatira, this is that one for now. Oski over the top, good idea. Exotic, though, always going to have that touch, and now a Chronic from the third man. This is looking like old school Team Liquid, where they can be so vulnerable to the counter-attack.
Expert's words are going to need to ring in their heads, though, because I'm sure he said, just be quicker, lads, give everything that you can. A Chronic wanting to be more mechanical, but Itachi waits, he's patient. He doesn't jump out on the wall too early. Instead, he just holds out and can get the clear away from the shot.
Karmine Corp just jabbing at Team Liquid. They keep him coming, but Liquid are starting to get a little bit more of a foothold in this game. And Chronic, another flip reset. He is the player that seems to have come most alive for Team Liquid. He wants this one. He wants that ball on his bonnet.
Definitely opportunities starting to arise. When you see Team Liquid push, you think, yeah, this really could be a goal now, instead of them just hitting it somewhere in the direction. Oski wanting to get the 50 there. Instead, Exotic goes a little bit lower and can clear it past, but Atto, the man to give the ball the orange trail that it's so needed. Vatira nearly over one, but just meets his death at the hands of a Chronic.
Oski's got one flip reset, and then he's pushed into the ball. A Chronic is the player coming in. Vatira, a little bit neutrally. Atto can do something here. Vatira, a couple of touches. Actually out wide. Oski's just desperate for this ball, wants it to be his. Vatira, who's got the ball on a string, will not let that happen. He tees up Exotic, but it's saved by a Chronic.
Onto the backboard, but with nobody pushing up from Karmine Corp, and Vatira just waiting central. I thought that was a misplay from KC, but their patience, they know that Liquid just want to get these cleared quickly. A Chronic doesn't see where he's really putting that, and Vatira from the midfield is able to beat that ball 2-0 at 2:02. And KC well on their way to the double dub in Winter.
We did say that Team Liquid had to chuck everything at Karmine Corp, and that could leave gaps in their defense. When you're that desperate, when your opponents are playing this well, it's the sort of risks you need to take. But Karmine Corp, they have the intelligence to deal with that and survive. More than survive, flourish time after time, final after final, championship after championship, and maybe one day, LAN after LAN. But Team Liquid are showing signs of life themselves, who can't quite get in there in time.
Oski, though, onto the ceiling. Can he get that double touch? With 90 seconds remaining, something needs to come out. A double, a single, anything for Liquid. Exotic, though, 15 it towards that mid. Finally, rolling in front of that orange side, and with no pressure, Atto can just send it long, but just giving that control back to KC isn't going to be winning them a goal. Vatira can air dribble it from his own half, gets that 50. Gets the flip reset, the double flip reset from Vatira onto Itachi. Nearly devastating. The final minute approaches.
Karmine Corp are just getting better and better as it goes. Liquid looking like they have no answer. Just one goal could bring some life into this one. It's not seeming like it's going to happen, though. Exotic squeezes the ball against the wall of Chronic. Can't do anything with it yet again.
They find themselves so close together, and yet nothing can come out from it. Atto declining to pass on that opportunity, but with zero boost, there's no way he was going to score it himself. A Chronic now being challenged by Vatira and Itachi. What a devastating duo to come up against when they're staring down the barrel. Atto dribbling one, and that one just being a little bit too much for him. The bump nearly helping out Exotic too there. Itachi tries to cut in, but with 11 boost, gets taken to the corner. Can't pick up that corner 100. The final 30. KC, that's all the time that stands between them and the double victories here in Winter.
Just sending this ball high, making sure that Team Liquid can't do anything with it. Atto into the center, and look who's there. It's Exotic yet again. He's been flawless since being brought into this team. This is the trio that's seen they're going to represent EU for a long time to come. Vatira almost thinks another double flip reset. It's not going to matter. It's attacking brilliance. It's defending just in spades, and it's another Rocket League masterpiece from Karmine Corp. They win the Winter Cup.
Congratulations again to the guys who just can do everything. The early challenges, going for these early shots and just terrifying Liquid into sitting back. Vatira stands up, he shrugs, the boys go, what we do? We do this. You know, those laughing emojis on Twitter from Rise, what do they mean now?
I think he's justifying them. Each one event is another laughing emoji that he can say, I earned that being put on Twitter. That going on social media is something that I can justify. Karmine Corp, head and shoulders above the rest of EU right now. You know, that's not even in conversation. 2 victories in a row for this team, and goodness knows how many finals. They just don't have any sort of gaps in their armor.
Liquid did a great job, though, pulling them to the point where they have to really change their game plan, forcing them to take that time out and reconsider how they were going to be attacking the series, and then coming off that timeout and getting 8-1 it's a silly result. They nearly tripled the amount of goals that they get pre and post timeouts. Karmine Corp, They are the team that will be looking to North America and seeing their real competition.
They even type confidently. Do you know what I mean? Look at that posture. That is a man who is pretty happy with his day's work right there. He does know. He does know the Hearts barely even beating quickly. They've just won in Europe, you know?
He's gone to 61 BPM, Cole. He's going crazy.
He really is. Oh, man. Sublime goals from Karmine Corp. But they don't have to have sublime goals. They can just bundle it in if they have to.
But Karmine Corp, they are everything at the moment in Europe. Team Liquid, they did a great job getting to the grand finals. They went 17-3 until they got here, but 21 games later, and they are not able to take that dub. Karmine Corp with the win and the desk to break it down.
Thank you, Stumpy. What a surprising result we had there. Yeah, this was everyone thought it would be one-sided. You didn't want to count Liquid out, but it definitely was. I mean, it wasn't one-sided. It was a good battle, but KCorp is just proving to be too strong at Chiefs here.
It started good. You were like, okay, maybe we were all wrong. Maybe KCorp's not gonna absolutely dunk everybody. And then Shogun was like, nah. Give me a second. He's like, watch this. They're still coming. You're dead right, buddy. Well done.
Look, I wish I could sort of like just cede the floor to CJ here. So I'm going to speak kind of sort of for him because he's completely right about this one. You just lost. What was it? 8-1. That the timeout needed to be done there. It might not have ended up meaning anything, but the fact that you've just seen a team score against you that many times and you don't want to just take their hands off the controller is, it's a weird decision for me. And I think after that happened, it was just all done. And congratulations, KC. The bar keeps getting raised.
Chiefs, we're like, yeah, this is just what they do now. They just win, right? But they're still ecstatic. I'm looking at, again, Vatira tweeting again, let's go, regional champion. Oh my gosh, ha ha ha. Like, they're excited. He's ecstatic about these wins stuff.
Yeah, and they should be. I mean, it's not easy to sit there on the top. As you've seen, there have been plenty of teams who have been on top before, and to stay on top is really difficult. So you're allowed to be excited. You've earned it.
Well, let's talk to the team now. Johnny has Eversax on the line.
Eversax, congratulations on yet another regional win, the third regional victory for the team this season, the fifth grand final regionally in a row. Your immediate thoughts after an incredible achievement.
Thank you very much, and I'm really happy because we didn't enter the game very well, but we found the key to beat them. We applied it and it worked really good. So I'm really glad we could bounce back from the first games.
Yeah, Team Liquid were winning 2-1 after 3 games. So game 4, I think 8-1 or something. What happened? How did you guys turn the series around in such convincing fashion?
To be honest, we wanted to play our game plan and it wasn't working. So I just told them if they want a ball chase, let's just ball chase better than them. And we started going on everything and it seemed to work.
There you go, ladies and gentlemen. Just ball chase better is the counter to ball chasing. But really, you guys look so calm before both of the matches today, before the semi, before the final. You look like you're having so much fun. How do you guys keep such a positive team atmosphere under all this pressure?
I think a key to that is we are all together in bootcamp and we are really good friends. And it's really helping for the mentality because we're always joking around. And so I think if one of us maybe feels pressure, it just goes away because everyone is on a good mood, making jokes and chilling.
Now, I've got to ask, Vatira has been praised by many recently, as best player in the world, potentially. I think rightfully so. I think he's been incredible. But I don't think it's actually an Exotic have had enough praise directed at them. So maybe can you explain for all those who don't seem to understand what makes this team so great? Can you tell them from the coach what is so great about Itachi and Exotic? Why do they work so well alongside Vatira?
I think Itachi and Exotic are really doing a good work at opening field for Vatira on the field, and he's able to do solo plays and shine. But I think if you watch all the games, some games it's Exotic doing crazy stuff, some games it's Itachi. I like to see us more as a team effort, and I think we are dominating at the moment because of our game plan and the way we play as a team and not individually.
Now, finally, over in North America, Gen.G have been doing pretty well. I know that the players like to focus on what they're doing, but do you as the coach keep an eye on what's happening elsewhere, see, okay, maybe what's working for them over there? They've had, a pretty dominant run. You guys have one up them, though, 5 regional finals in a row. Pressure's on them to repeat it. But what do you think of them? What do you think of the rest of the world? You guys have dominated Europe. Can you do that on the world stage?
Yeah, I think we couldn't show what we wanted at the Rotterdam Major, but I'm pretty sure next one will be more prepared. And yeah, I'm watching. I'm always watching RLCS, and I'm watching Gen.G close because I think they're also like winning because of a team effort and not individual playstyle. So it's really good to see like maybe our twins like doing the same, but on another region. Sorry. So I'm really excited if we can play them in San Diego.
I think we would all love to see that. Well, today though, you've done it again. We'll find out in a couple of weeks if you can go 3 for 3. But thanks for talking to us, Eversax. Congrats again on the win, and be sure to tell the players congrats from me and from all of us, because they deserve it.
Okay, thank you.